From UBN Studios, you're listening to UNSUGARCOATED with Aalia, bringing you interviews with public figures and inspirational people speaking on self-improvement with empowering themes. And I'm your host, Aalia Lanius. Hello, and welcome back to your favorite social good podcast, talk show. We continue to explore inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a positive impact in their communities and beyond. Our guests come from a wide range of backgrounds, and they are driven by a shared commitment to creating a better world for all. From activists and entrepreneurs to artists and scientists, we delve into their personal journeys, the challenges they've faced, and the innovative solutions they've developed to address some of the most pressing social issues of our time. Thank you for joining us as we uncover the stories of those who are making a real difference in the world. Emotional intelligence continues to be the theme, and when it comes to increasing representation and diversity in arts and media, it can play a crucial role. By EI, of course, I'm referring to the ability to understand and manage one's own emotions, as well as to recognize and respond appropriately to the emotions of others. When individuals in the arts and media have high emotional intelligence, they are better equipped to create works that accurately and sensitively respect a diverse range of perspectives. Emotional intelligence can help individuals in the arts and media create works that are fostering empathy, authenticity, collaboration, and cultural competence, which is what we want, right? So today we have a guest who's going to definitely knock your socks off. I hope you're ready for it because I am definitely excited. We are thrilled to welcome Anthony Francisco, a seasoned creative professional with over a decade of experience in the entertainment industry. With his extensive experience in concept and art and visual development, Francisco has played a key role in the creation of some of the most iconic characters and costumes in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Currently, he serves as the creative director at Dolphin Entertainment, where he is leading the development of various NFT series involving original and existing intellectual property with the company's growing NFT studio. Throughout his career, Francisco has contributed to a wide range of film and video game projects, including Guardians of the Galaxy, Black Panther, and Hunger Games. And he is known for his attention to detail and the ability to bring unique and memorable characters to life. Perhaps most notably, one of our favorite characters, Groot. In addition to his work in the entertainment industry, Francisco is a skilled artist and illustrator with a passion for character design and world building. He is now turning his attention to developing his original IPs as well as pursuing a career in directing and writing for films and TV. Join us as we dive into his creative journey, learn about the challenges he's faced, and explore the impact of representation on the entertainment industry. Please welcome Anthony Francisco. We love it. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me, and this is exciting. Ever since I met you at the blockchain Philippines, it's always like great to hang out again.
Yeah, so thank you for bringing that up. So we met. We were both speakers and presenters at the Philippine Blockchain Week in December 2022. An amazing experience. Shout out to Kate and Dan, Kate Hancock and Daniel Robbins, of course, as well as the David Uslin and everyone else that had put so much work into that. I had the opportunity to see you present, and I was moved emotionally, first of all, and just by your story and how, and to know the person behind some of these incredible works. Tell us about a time where you've had to use emotional intelligence as you work, in your work as a creative professional.
I realized, when you were actually doing the intro and talking about how emotional intelligence is important, your how strong you are with your cultural background and stuff like that, and you're like putting to words stuff that I think I've always felt even before, even when I was younger. I remember after Design the Dora Milaje, and that kind of went viral. My dad was watching one of the videos talking about the Ifugao tribe, how I didn't know exactly why that resonated with me, that kind of stuff, and why that's almost like has been with me for a while. And he kind of told me this story that the Ifugao tribes that would come down from the mountains to kind of get some money, I guess, to help with the tribe and stuff during Christmas, and I would really be into that and watching them, like, just couldn't take my eyes off all the design elements they had in their costumes. So it kind of makes sense now why that has been something I took with me for a long time. And there's how do you say, symbolic importance to it too, because in the Philippine culture, Ifugao tribe, the people from the Cordillera Mountains were never really colonized by the Spanish, so we kind of kept our they kept the way their culture intact, I guess, in terms of costume.
Right.
And
it wasn't influenced by outside factors. It was more authentic. That's amazing. So again, yes, we were in the Philippines. You're Filipino. You're American as well.
Yes.
Tell me, I mean, look, when it comes to statistics, we already know that there is not enough representation of in diversity in movies and films. How does it feel to really know that you're not just representing yourself, but your entire culture?
In the beginning, I didn't think of it that way. I guess until I started, I guess I went viral in a way. I think I always just try to infuse some of the stuff from my childhood into my designs all the time. Ah, man, I think I forgot the question already. As I'm going around, it's like, what was the question again?
It's okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, first of all, I think that a lot from your life is introduced into your work, right?
Yes,
like
yes.
you're representing your culture and also your family. So I thought one of the most, I'll kind of shift for you. I thought one of the most amazing things when you shared Groot, when you shared the inspiration.
Yes,
share with our audience what was the process for you like? I mean, you've done we had it in the intro. For the listening audience, you have to go check out the visuals because you've just created so many amazing things. But Groot to me stood out. Where did your inspiration come as you were going through that process?
Definitely having my kids really helped me kind of put my feelings in perspective on how this baby, toddler type character would, act and move and stuff. In the beginning, when I was designing him, I didn't even really think about my kids in the beginning because I was trying to just solve a problem that they had given to me of Groot now having legs and he's going to be doing these things and he has to feel like a toddler, like having a diaper on him or something just to make it feel like a toddler. But then when you think about what he needs to do in the film, you think of form follows function. It can't dance if he would move like a toddler. Mm-hmm. So I had to figure out the right balance of his body proportions so that he could actually do the action. And then that's when it's like, my son, he moves differently when he was 2, 3. He would be doing dancing, doing handstands. His proportions are not your normal kid, I guess. He doesn't have like a big head when he was younger. And that's like when it clicked, my daughter and him and their movements. And I was watching them and even thinking that, hey, he could kind of fit this right character. And then adding the roots of the baliti tree in the Philippines. So in a way, putting them two together, you could tell that, Baby Groot was a little Filipino boy, really, because he's from my son, from the baliti trees I remember in the Philippines. And that's kind of like how it came together. But the most important part, I think, is when I'm designing him and I just smile, like thinking about my kids. And it's almost like you start off with a feeling and then your body translates it into paper with the right shapes. Sometimes it could be by accident, but it's also the experience I had. It's funny, I say experience in designing, but when I started off, I was designing like horror film monsters. And Baby Groot was a cute,
right?
Creature,
lovable.
Yeah, lovable.
Yeah.
And it's like, so you could really tell my journey from, being single, not having kids, with the type of mindset I had with these monsters. And when I had a kid, I kind of softened up, and then my kids give me joy in my life and light and all that stuff. So it kind of all went into Baby Groot.
How old is your son now?
My son's 15 now.
Okay, so how does he react knowing like this, that he was such an influence for you? You
should see him now, because
does he go to school and tell all the kids?
Well, he homeschools. So but in he do jiu-jitsu, gymnastics, and all that stuff. When he was younger, I think it was easier for him to, because he was a Marvel fan. He's a little older now, so it's not as cool, but maybe it'll probably come back again next time. But But the funny thing is, as he's growing up, the personalities that he would have, it kind of mirrors Groot when he becomes, the teen Groot.
Right.
And then now you have Swole Groot, right?
Yeah.
So my son is, if anybody searches for how my son looks like, he kind of resembles the new Groot now.
Right.
With the shape of his head, and since he did gymnastics, his arms are really like big.
Uh-huh.
So same thing.
So you wrote it. You did like the Bart Simpson or the Simpsons where they wrote it and then it came to life and now.
Yeah, yeah.
What was the art that inspired you? I am going to be honest. I can write my butt off, but if you asked me to draw a picture and my life depended on it, it would be bad. It would be very bad. So I admire it. I love it. But yeah, where did you draw inspiration from?
I would say it was already from Marvel comic books from the beginning. Stories obviously from my uncles and aunts that would come visit from the provinces, and they would tell us the Filipino folklore, kind of ghost stories and fairies and stuff like that is so unbelievable, but some of it sounds like it's true. I would love to see one of those tikbalangs or manananggals, but then I don't want to die if I see it. But so those stories, and then comic books had become like a really important part of my life when I'm during that time. That's a difficult time sometimes for kids,
right?
Teenagers. I was not a popular kid, you could say, but I was even made fun of reading comic books. It's almost like that's like immature or something. Have you read comic books? In my mind, Marvel was one of those first comic books that had representation and was very diverse. And not only did they talk about epic moments, in fantasy, but also like the flaws of people and how they had to deal with it, the regular problems of people. That's why X-Men was one of my most that's the comic book. I didn't have a lot of money, so I had to choose certain comic books to follow. So X-Men was one of them, and Wolverine was my favorite character because I'm 5'3", he's 5'3", we're both really tough.
Love it. I love it. So do you feel like, when did you come to the US from the Philippines?
I think it was around 92. Okay. I was already 17.
So you're 17.
Yeah, so I was pretty old already coming here.
But that transition, how has that experience impacted your creativity?
I think it impacted a lot, because but I didn't realize I was in the place to be at that moment, because I was still young. I had my friends. It's just starting new, like brand new. I do wish my parents had told me that, just save money, go back to the Philippines. It's not really that, in my mind it was like, this is it. Right. Life is sometimes. That's why when I bring up my kids now, I kind of make them aware that anything is possible. You don't have to have limiting beliefs, even though your data shows you that this can't happen. Where's that coming from? Maybe it's your parents telling you it can't happen. So with me now, almost everything I asked for has happened.
That's incredible. Well, because the universe wants it for you. Everything you actually ask for, the universe wants for us, right? Yes. What is it like in the hallways of an organization like Marvel, where they're, like you said, they have this diversity? How is that? Has that culture further propelled you into your entire creative journey?
That's a really awesome question, to reveal a lot of things, because I remember now your first question, that's where I was leading to why Marvel is. I feel grateful that I was able to get in that environment, because they really, how do you say this, celebrate the artist, because all the content they're creating for film, they were all from the writers and artists of the comic books, and I'm just like standing on shoulders of giants. I guess that's the term, right? And I'm just grateful that Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, all these, building this whole world, so I could have this kind of life and this kind of job, and Kevin Feige, the president of Marvel, he is an inspiration, because even though he's like the head of the whole studio, we see each other in the hallways. I could still say hi to him, and and Victoria Alonso, Lou Desposito, there, as well as all the other producers. I really love that family, and we're all very good at what we do, I guess. And and me being a total Marvel fan helped. I'm sure it is something they appreciate, because then you put so much effort in your designs,
right?
Because you put your head down and you just go, like, and then the way you were raised is like, don't brag, that's not nice, but the part they didn't get to say, no, it's more like, be humble but inspire people.
Right. In your experience, how can representation and diversity in media, impact, or how have you observed it impacting society?
Okay, let me say this. When I was younger in the Philippines watching movies and stuff, I think I was fortunate to have seen Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee has been like, oh, that guy's a badass Asian, it's like, and you just relate to it and always feel like I could see myself in there. And because I was also into the comic books, in this Marvel specifically, a lot of diversity there, I think learning about how difficult it is to be in the industry because you're a person of color was not in my mind. I've been doing this for like 22 years, 23 years, and the first 10 I didn't really notice. I didn't really think about that. I thought we're all in even footing, because you have to be a little bit crazy to think you believe in yourself so much that my mom would even say how cocky maybe I could be, but it's not cocky. I just think I want to do what I love, and you'll hire me because I'm good at what I do.
Right.
Oh no, but maybe an uncle of mine said, to get into the studio, you should be a janitor first and then go work your way up. And I said, you know what? No, I'm going in there as a concept artist. Which my kids actually kind of have that now, but bigger dreams, right? Mine was just like concept artist. I never thought of director, producer. I never thought. That just happened like 6 years ago, that I started taking away my limiting beliefs,
Right. I love that. And speaking, and I love that you brought up your mom, because we talked about that before. Traditional family, they were not like, yes, we want you to be an artist, right? What was the initial like feedback, and when was the moment that they turned around and were like, okay, we get this now?
She's not supportive. It was just more like, have a backup. When I first got here, I was going to be a physical therapist. That's what was the plan, I guess. But when I was in the room for this 9-week course or something like that, and because I still went to college in the Philippines at UST for a little. I didn't graduate or anything, but I had a little certificate that I was gonna give to the physical therapist school, and she read it out loud to me while I was sitting there with my sister, because she was also taking it. And she said, oh, so you came from UST, University of Santo Tomas, architecture and fine arts major. And when she said that, it kind of echoed to me, and I go, architecture and fine arts, what am I doing here?
Right.
And she totally kind of saved me, but she didn't realize what she did. No, just sit down here, let's keep on going with this. And I go, no, you helped me enough when you said that I'm an artist. And then I just left.
So when things are going good, and I get it, look, I get it when you say that it's not that they're not supportive of the backup plan. Of course, my family was the same thing.
Yeah.
There were actually artists and very, entertainment driven people in our family, and some, they were just not successcul somewhere, but most of them were like, yeah, that doesn't pay the bills, right? That's something you do on the side. They can't see it. When did they finally see it?
When did it happen? It's so hard to tell. It's almost like a gradual thing, but when it really hit home was at Marvel. I think once Baby Groot came out, and I kind of went viral with that, and wow, what an interesting question. Like, I can't pinpoint the day that they said to me, I know what you're doing. She still says I'm a graphic designer or an animator. I'm not an animator,
Right. You're very diverse in what you create. Hands down, I love that about you. But yeah, what's in the works now that you can share with us and talk to us about?
Well, right now I'm really
without killing me.
Yeah,
I know you guys. I keep making this joke, but it's true.
Yeah. Well, I could share the last. How do you say this? The last day I was at Marvel, and I shared the opportunity I had to develop one of my IPs, I talked to Kevin Feige, and he was very congratulatory. And this is why I love Marvel. It's like, he's like, you've been here 9 years, you're like family, you gotta, the door is always open for you when you come back. And then I had to make sure that I told him that moment what I was planning on doing, which directing. So I said, Kevin, just so you know, I would love when I come back to be a director, or producer, or write something for you. And he smiled and went, I'll be watching your career, sir. Mm-hmm. So it kind of gave me even more of this push to make sure the short film I'm working on now, so that's the new thing I'm working on, my short film, and the series. But this is a series I already written before Marvel came out, the idea of it. It's like a Harry Potter, but with Filipino folklore.
So you're definitely still staying in representation. You're still like giving your community something to be like, that's my man. I love
my
that.
kids are in there. It's about family and, about emotional, you were saying emotional intelligence, because how does a family unit work together, and sibling rivalry, and how they need to treat each other to realize they love each other, and they need each other. And the reason this has developed because of my kids when they were younger. We're very open. I never let them feel like they have to be afraid to tell me the truth of how they feel. Mm-hmm. So they're able to say, like, one example, I would say my son, since my daughter was born, our attention had to be on our daughter. Right. And he was actually not liking that much.
The struggle.
But I didn't realize it was affecting him like hard. Mm-hmm. But it's also like an unreasonable kind, because it's a baby. You have to take care of the baby. You know?
It's part of the process. It's it happens.
And as they grow older, that emotion, that relationship is kind of like the story I'm telling. And now they're like really good friends because they're 15 and 13 now. Oh,
so now, there's a bond there.
Yeah, there's a bond there.
That's incredible. How do you balance staying true to the source material with bringing your own creative vision to characters?
Again, I'm a fan, first foremost, Marvel, and I want it to look good. So one example I could tell you is like Namor. When I was designing Namor, Ryan Coogler had the direction of using Mesoamerican aesthetic and stuff like that for like the glyphs for Mayan culture. But I've already been studying that even before that. I already put that in my work ahead of time, so it's very awesome that it's already there, that I'm already doing it. But instead of just looking at Mayan, I love watching all the documentaries from the Olmecs to the Mayans to the Aztecs, like just have a full view of the civilizations that came before us and pre-colonial South America and indigenous people, and I just go across the world and just connect everything, including the Filipino indigenous population, and like how is that connected? Sorry, it's a long answer, but
I love it though, because it's true.
Yeah, and that fills me with emotion. And then that's how do you represent that in his costume? How do you show the god Kukulkan that they worshipped at that time, and the duality of the feathered serpent giving and taking life? So I would think of all those things and imagine myself as an artist living in that time, so I would be able to design something original but still feel like it's in the world. So that's how I've kind of put culture in the designs I'm doing, and it's not just because it's cool. Right. It's still original because it's me doing it. And it wouldn't be disrespecting historically accurate symbols, because it's all made up, so that's how I kind of work.
I love that. I don't know. It sounds like I watch a lot of documentaries and History Channel. I kind of fancy myself a hobbying anthropologist.
Yes.
Because I'm so fascinated with history, and I often wish I could go back and dive into what was happening and how it was. And I think that so many of the indigenous cultures offer us a lot that, modern day society drops away from, to the side. I think one of the most important things, I don't know if you agree, but the relationship to the earth, we are an extension of the earth in the way that indigenous cultures treated and respected and felt
a oneness
and also, I'll just say this, it's kind of a little off topic, but it's like somebody said to me recently, the earth is dying. And I said, the earth is not dying. What is happening is that we have become so disrespectful. We're creating an atmosphere where humanity is now being threatened.
Yeah.
After a million years or a couple 100,000, whatever, God forbid, the earth is going to be fine.
Yes.
But we are the ones who are responsible, right? And so it's something that I think is so valuable. And like when even in the films, and when you see this battle over nature and and control over the elements in the way that it's a very powerful thing. So I'm very drawn to those stories and our backgrounds in it,
Yeah, I love that stuff too. I mean, even the thing I'm developing has a lot nature themes and protecting the enchanted forest. I call it the enchanted forest. So it is really magical, and how to protect that. So I can't wait to really talk about, we've already written the pilot episode, and there's like 5 seasons kind of summarized. Yeah, the first 2 is kind of more solid. So there's a lot of the family elements and environment and pre-colonial Philippines. I want to talk about that. So
I love it. Well, I mean, I'm excited, and I can't wait. When you can talk more, you'll have to come back and give us an update. And, I know you just actually attended Ant-Man Quantumania. You were actually part of designing I know you're like the guy with the big head.
Yes, yeah.
Tell me, what was that like?
Oh, MODOK. MODOK is a character. I loved it when I was growing up because I'm a big fan of Incredible Hulk, and there was a battle of Incredible Hulk versus MODOK. Drawn by John Byrne. I think it's also written by John Byrne. Another icon for me that I growing up with. What was it like? I can always feel fortunate that I was able to get the approval for the final design for that. During that time, I was working on 3 other movies at the same time: Black Panther 2, and so Ant-Man and Marvels. So lucky enough, I was able to get 3 main characters for all 3. So it was like, oh shoot, how am I gonna do this? You have to get your mind out from sci-fi into like this travel aesthetic into more, the superhero genre of costumes and stuff. I can't say too much about it. I don't want to slip with Marvels because I
don't want to be killed.
Out yet.
I don't want them knocking on my door.
yeah. So but designing them took some time. There's a lot of how do you say this without everyone watch it already, so it's easier to talk about. But designing MODOK was so much fun because I've been drawing him for since I was in high school. But with this one, I was able to put my own spin on it. And in the trailers, you could see he has like a mask on, and that golden mask and the way it's designed is like pretty close to what I have gotten approved.
I love it, and I'm so proud of you. I'm proud knowing you. I want to ask you a couple rapid fire questions. So we're going to transition. These will be a little fun. And, what is your favorite word in another language?
Oh my God, that's hard. There's so many fun words. Well, in my Tagalog language, I always thought astig was cool. Astig. So it's a slang term for tigas, which tigas means hard. I'm hard.
Oh, okay.
And usually you use astig for a tough guy.
Oh, okay.
Because you flip tigas astig, that's one that's I always kind of use. And wow, there's so many. Another language, I have when I was working in NC Soft, my Korean friends and stuff, and there's this word. Now, hachincha, I think. Hachincha, really? Like, say, oh, you could be in a conversation with anybody if you just so, really? Hachincha. Whatever they say, hachincha. Hopefully I'm saying it right.
I love that. I love that. I love that. Okay. What's the weirdest thing that's ever inspired one of your character designs?
Oh, wow. Many. There's many a time of when I was younger, sometimes just being in the bathroom in the Philippines, our bathroom has a lot of cracks on the walls.
Mm-hmm.
So you're just there waiting and, in the toilet. And then my imagination would just go wild and I would just see shapes in the cracks.
Oh my gosh.
And just like, yeah.
I love that because my grandparents, oh my God, I know what you mean, because they had the paint that would and I remember just sitting on the toilet as well and looking and I'd see little faces come up and I'd see little things and it was like, so I'm not alone. Oh, you just made me feel so much
love doing
better.
that. I'll tell you this one, a very embarrassing story that everyone now will know that I'm going to talk about here at school, right? I am a dreamer, right? I daydream in school, in my seat while teacher's teaching something, and this during Star Wars came out, and it's always in my mind of I wish I could be directing that or whatever, but I was daydreaming, and remember that scene in Star Wars where there was that creature that was in one of the tunnels, and the Millennium Falcon was flying away as it was trying to. Oh yeah, because it was inside the. So I was imagining myself as the creature, and the Millennium Falcon was in my mouth, and escape now! And I was holding my mouth open like this, while I was in my chair, and my eyes were closed, and then all of a sudden I heard Francisco, the teacher, was right above me, and kind of woke me up as I was like imagining saving the Millennium Falcon. And the whole class was looking at me.
like, where's this guy at? But see, you speak to something. Don't knock the daydreamers. Don't knock them. You never. I mean, it's like when I was a kid and they'd say, you talk a lot, Aalia. Well, look, talking can serve some. I mean, even with my own kids, she talks too much. Okay, listen, I know that for the classroom purposes, I understand that may be bad, but it's actually a good thing, So I love that.
Did the teacher ever punish you for talking too much?
Oh my gosh, I remember. Yes, and I remember my gym teacher. This is a true story. I thought she was serious. We were in line, roll call, and she said, the tongue, your tongue is the most powerful muscle in your body. Yeah. And I looked at her and I thought she was for real. I'm looking at I'm in in 7th grade. I'm looking at my classmate. Did you know that? Really? Does that? She goes, no. Your tongue is the strongest muscle in your body. She's like, not like really, just yours. And I'm like,
just yours.
Okay. Yeah. So
they would be getting mad at both of us because I talk so much in class. That's why I was put in the front of class so they could see me, and then I would still end up at the back because it's just easier to talk back there.
Right, 100%. Okay,
God, that's so funny.
What fictional character do you relate to the most?
Oh wow, maybe different times in my life, different ones, but
most recently.
It's always Wolverine.
The Wolverine.
I feel like Wolverine is the guy
that.
for me, and I could get angry like him, but I could be calm like him. I could be, I just want to be stoic and not let things kind of affect me emotionally, especially because it's a waste of time to do that and just solve the problem that's in front of me. But fictional character, I guess it's Wolverine. I'm trying to think of other ones. That's the first fictional character that came to my mind.
If you could pick and only use one color, this is going to be a tricky question because I know it's ridiculous, but if you could only use one color for the rest of your life, what would it be and why?
Wow.
I know, asking an artist that question,
hard.
Are you crazy?
That is hard because it might be, I wonder what color represents all of it. But I guess red was the first one. I think in my life when I loved black, all grays, and that when I was growing up, but ever since I started using red, brighter colors, it just seems like even white, it just seems like it affects your mood.
Yeah, it's an energy thing. There's some
thing.
science behind that for sure. It's why kids have to have primary colors. They say put primary colors in front of them.
Oh, yeah.
There's why hospitals will have more muted colors and things like that. So it's very true. It's very true.
Green relaxes your blood pressure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and then also the significance of like culture, like fortune, good health. Like I'm all about that for sure.
Feng Shui. I'm into that kind of stuff.
Yes.
The energies and stuff. It feels like it's true. And it probably is.
It is.
I would say it is true.
It is. That's how come, look, when we look at our lives and people wonder like, wow, how do all these good things happen for you? Again, like not only does the universe want them, but, when you really do have these belief systems that are not limited by, oh, no, that's not possible. No, it is. And again, going back to the culture of how we're related to nature and colors and things come from the world and what we see. So absolutely. Well, it has been amazing to have you today. I want to say thank you so much. Where can people stay connected with you in your journey?
I have my Instagram, which is Anthony_Francisco_art. I'm also on Twitter. By the way, something awesome today happened on Twitter. John Cena started following me.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Yeah, I was like, I'm a cool dad now because my daughter is a big John Cena fan.
Right.
I mean, I love John Cena too. But mostly for his movies and his like memes, so like, wow. Anyway, he's so funny.
That's fantastic. Well, shout out to John Cena. Good move. Good move. You following good people right here.
So my Twitter, my Twitter is I forgot, art_AF is my Twitter, and of course on YouTube and Facebook.
I would encourage the audience to definitely go check it out. You have such amazing things out there that you share and are doing, and we're happy to have you.
Also, I have another IP that also just came out called Creature Chronicles. So that's my Star Wars, and same thing. I'm trying to put more diversity in it. So I've never seen heroines. They're Filipino, so most of them Pacific Islander Filipino kind of mix of people there. So I'd love people to check that out too.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to seeing and hopefully working with you as well in the future too.
Sure,
so keep doing these amazing things.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you. Okay, now back at home, as we wrap up this episode, I hope you've been as inspired by Anthony as I have. His creative journey is it's amazing. From his work at Marvel Studios to his current role at Dolphin Entertainment, Francisco has made an indelible mark on the entertainment industry with his incredible designs and attention to detail. What I find most inspiring about Anthony's story is his ability to constantly evolve and adapt to new challenges and opportunities. Despite being a seasoned professional, he continues to push himself to learn new skills, explore new mediums, and take on new creative challenges. Whether you're an aspiring artist, a seasoned pro, or just someone who appreciates the power of creativity, Anthony's story serves as a reminder that with passion, perseverance, and a willingness to take risks, anything is possible. So keep pushing yourself to create, to innovate, and to make a positive impact in the world around you. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to comment, like, and share. Also, sign up for our newsletter at www.unsugarcoatedmedia.com so you can stay up to date with what's new with us. And of course, as you guys know, thank you so much for letting us be unsugarcoated.